Last time on Gaming Through the Ages, we upgraded from the Fairchild Channel F console that only supported 8 colours to the Atari 2600 that supported up to 128 colours, but still only 4 colours per horizontal scanline. Out of the 9 Atari 2600 launch titles, Street Racer got the most votes, so Ben and I played several of the game variations available to see who got the highest score in each. We were pretty impressed with the sound effects of the cars, but to be honest, some of the sound effects just sounded like digital farts. Although the Atari showed off a wide range of colours in the variation selection screen, only 4 colours were used on the screen at once in each game, and like all previous games we've played so far in this series, the sprites were made up of just single solid colours. This really didn't show off the full capabilities of the Atari 2600, so viewers were encouraged to pick a game on the Atari released in 1978 for this episode that had multicoloured sprites. Keep watching to find out which game got the most votes. Welcome to Gaming Through the Ages, the series where we take a look at games from many different genres and consoles through time, from 1975 to now in chronological order. Once we've reached modern times, we start back at 1975 and explore a different group of games. Based on the votes in the comment section of the last episode, Night Driver and Bowling got the same amount of votes. However, Bowling was released in 1979, so it's not quite appropriate for this episode. Due to that reason, we will play Night Driver instead. Ben and I will be taking turns in this single-player driving game to see who can get the highest score. Now, this game, you were just a car driving down the road at night time. You've just got to avoid the kind of side barriers on the road and then the oncoming cars that are going to crash into you if you don't swerve around them. So it's pretty simple. The further you drive, the more points you get, and you've got to get as far as possible within 90 seconds. Now, as you can see at the top, this says Game 1. This is the easy track. There's Game 2, which is a little bit harder. Game 3 is the absolute hardest track. Game 4 is a random track, so it randomly generates its own track for you to kind of maneuver. Game 5, 6, 7 and 8 is just Game 1, 2, 3 and 4 without the timer. Let me just show you through Game 1 how this driving actually works. So here we are, we're this little thing in the road. I can drive fast and I can drive slow. As you can see, what really sucks is we are a single coloured sprite with very little detail, but the other cars on the road seem to have multiple colours. I mean, look at that car there. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, because it has a gradient at the top, or it gets lighter at the top of the car. 5. So that one sprite there of that car has 5 colours. That is pretty awesome. But we just distill a single coloured sprite that looks nothing like a car, to be honest. Anyway, as we keep driving, you'll see that there is a tree on the road. That's also a multicoloured sprite. Now, this is what we're starting to see a lot with the Atari 2600. As time goes on, you're seeing more and more kind of multicoloured sprites and more colours on the screen at once, as opposed to what we had before with Street Racer, where everything was just one colour. Every car was just a solid colour, and that really takes realism out a lot. You need different colours, you need more textures in each object for a game to feel more realistic. And anyway, you can see my time at the top of the screen. You can drive slow, like I'm kind of driving slow now, but you can also try and drive fast, which is hard not to crash, but my score's going up a lot faster as I drive faster, and then when you crash, all you're really losing is time, like a couple of seconds here and there. So you got to try not to crash into the other cars, and that's about it. Drive down the road, don't crash into the other cars or the barrier, and see how far you can get in 90 seconds. Now, as you can see, I've only gotten 5 points because I wasn't really trying there, but me and Ben now are going to try to see how many points we can get. This is a single player game, so I'll have a go, then he'll have a go. But let's see who can get the highest score. We're going to try the easy track first, then we'll try the hard track. I'm going to start. Gosh, this is tricky. Forgive me for my silence. This game requires me to go into a highly focused trance-like state in order to play it optimally. Growing up, I've always enjoyed games that put you in a car and let you drive around. This game was one of the earliest games that place you behind the car with the road in front of you, similar to the majority of racing and driving games we have today. This is my favourite camera angle used in driving games, however I do prefer open world driving that lets you go off-road if you desire. This game does give you the thrill of speed and the smooth feeling of driving a car, but unfortunately the barriers make it feel quite stressful and restricted as opposed to relaxing, so overall I don't see this as a game you would just sit down and unwind with after a tough day at school or work. Something that I dislike about this era of gaming in general was the focus of high scores in games. Beyond getting the highest score possible, there wasn't really any other goals or reasons to play these games. In this game, for example, we are driving down a road at night trying not to crash, something that many people successfully achieve on a daily basis. What we aren't told, however, is why. Why are we driving down the road at night? Where did we come from? And where are we driving to? Who are we? And what are our motives? Can I get to 45 points? This game completely lacks any kind of storyline that in future will be told by dialogue on the screen and eventually voice acting in cutscenes. As we move through time, you'll notice that the focus on high scores disappear as they are replaced with more in-depth gameplay elements such as currencies, skill trees and inventory systems. Yay! I got to 45 points. Okay. So now it's Ben's turn. Is he going to get a score on this easy track that is more than 45, or is he going to get something significantly lower? Here we go, Ben's got 90 seconds, he's got to beat a score of 45 points. This is the easy track. He's had about 2 minutes of practice before this video. He's at 10 so far, 65 seconds left. Okay, he's made it to 30. Okay, not bad, you got 33 points.
Right.
Okay, so here we go. Track 3, this is the hard track. This is not going to end well. See, I can't even see like where the road is. It bends so much at times and then bends from one side to the other so quickly. Like you even see the other bits of the road overlapping. Oh my gosh, this is tricky. I'm going to need to concentrate. Overall, there are many things wrong with the display of this game when you think logically, but this is all to do with the graphical limitations of this era. First of all, it's called Night Driver, thus the screen is black to simulate the driving experience occurring at night time. A black background was appropriate for this, however look at the objects that pass, such as the houses and trees. They are fully lit and viewable as though it was daytime. Darker colours could have been used here, but overall without gradients and a higher resolution, this wouldn't have done much. You'll also notice that only one of the 3 objects appear on screen at once as you drive down the road. You might be driving down the road and see a tree. There are also houses and other cars on the road, but one of these objects won't appear until you have driven past a tree and it is fully out of sight. This is ultra unrealistic, and sure, in real life you might find areas where the houses are spread out quite far apart, but is it truly to the point where you only see a single tree on the road and then a single house and so on? Also remember that if there is an oncoming car on the road in this game, you won't see any trees or houses as you have to wait for the car to pass before a tree or house appears. This mechanic also occurred in Street Racer when we drove along and only 1 or 2 obstacles appeared on the screen at once. If I could slightly improve this game, I would add a few more variations of trees, houses and oncoming cars so they don't all look the same. I'd also attempt to make the further road barriers a darker shade than the closer road barriers to simulate less light reaching them. Yes, I got 41 points. Okay, that track was extremely difficult and most of the time I couldn't even really see. I was like, when I play this game, I feel like I'm focusing on a strip in front of my car, and I don't know, you're seeing things that, you've got to come up with these concepts and the vision of seeing that as you can see, is inexplainable. So let's just let Ben have a go. Okay, now Ben is going to try Game 3, the hard track. He's got to beat a score of 41. Just know though that as you drive, you get points faster in hard. So it's in a way easier to get points, but it's harder not to crash. So here you go.
Okay, I'll give it a go. I'm terrible at this.
Keep going. What are you doing?
Well, I can't. I'm stuck. Oh.
You're at 10 points so far.
I'm glad I'm not on a real road. I would have killed everybody. I've had 20 crashes in 20 seconds.
You thinking kind of at least get to 30?
I'd like to.
1 more point if you want to get to 30. 11 more if you want to beat me.
I don't think I'm going to beat you.
Okay. See, that was a really hard track, wasn't it? Did you play this game back in your day? Because you told me you've seen someone playing an Atari 2600 back in your day. Did you ever play it?
No, I don't think I did. No, just... My mates used to have all sorts of different games, but I can't recall if they had this exact game. No, I don't remember.
So where to next from here? The year in the next episode will be 1979, which was an important year in gaming history, as it was a year the Milton Bradley Microvision was released. The Microvision was the first handheld game console that used interchangeable cartridges. Playing a game on the Microvision, however, would break the flow of this series, since due to its size, this console only had 16 bytes, and yes, 16 bytes, not kilobytes, of RAM, and the screen resolution was only 16 by 16 pixels. So for the purpose of keeping this series flowing smoothly, without taking giant leaps backwards, we'll stick to gaming on the Atari 2600 for the next few years, watching as over time the games evolve as they take more advantage of the Atari 2600's hardware. In the comments section, vote for the Atari 2600 game that we'll play in the next episode. Some of the games released in 1979 were Adventure, Bowling, Cannon Bomber, Miniature Golf, Skydiver, and Video Chess. Feel free to vote for any of these games or any of the other Atari 2600 games released in 1979. I'll see you guys next time in Gaming Through the Ages.